Hello everyone, welcome back to Are They Mid? It's your boy John, aka Salami Loop. Sorry I've been gone so long. Hurricane Ian came through and just completely fucked Florida and Fort Myers Beach, so I encourage everybody to go donate. Donate. Every dollar helps. People are still out there with no power and stuff, so just please, every dollar helps. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and without further ado, let's just hop right into it. Today we're talking about Vince Staples. Is Vince Staples mid? Find out at the end of the video. So first up on the list, we have Hell Can Wait, the EP Hell Can Wait. Out of the top 200 on Billboard, I got a spot at 90, which is pretty impressive for the first EP you've probably ever put out. This EP shows how Vince Staples loves and hates gangster culture in his area growing up in north side of Long Beach. You know, he's spitting straight facts on the whole album when he's rapping and his lyrics and stuff like that, but the production on it is kind of weak. One song, Blue Suede, is the only song that really stood out to me. Everything else just kind of was tossed to the side. So coming up at number 6, we have the album Primadonna. War Ready and Primadonna featuring A$AP Rocky carried this whole album. Hands down, Vince Staples tried going with a more interesting, weird sound, but when you listen to this whole album, it clearly does not sound like a Vince Staples album at all. It sounds really weird. The album cover is pretty cool with him and his heads being inflated. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. It's a little more creative than Hell Can Wait. That's the only thing it has on it. So coming out at number 5, we have Summertime '06. Great production team on this album with No ID, DJ Dahani, and Clams Casino. They really just delivered on this. Vince Staples put so much passion into this album. This project is just, it's great. Definitely his coming of age album. He definitely shines on this album with North North and a couple other songs on there. Not to mention that this album has an insanely long runtime. There's a lot of songs on here. Very, very passionate in his work, Vince was, with this album. You could just hear it in his voice when he's rapping on this album. He just put his whole heart and soul into it. Out of the top rap albums of 2015, this peaked at 36 out of 50. So clearly not the numbers that I was expecting from this, because this album is pretty underlooked. It really just goes to show you how if you get a great team for production and a great artist, how just a project can be amazing. And how everybody should really be credited for that and not just him. So coming up at number 4, we have the album Vince Staples. LA Times gave this out of the top 10 rap albums of 2021. He actually just made it at number 10. Short album, 10 tracks I believe are on it. It's only 22 minutes long. It feels like one long song. Only downside about this album is that it's really short, relatively short. I mean, Vince does this a lot because he'll drop albums that are pretty short. They have like a 25-minute runtime. You know, he just does that a lot for some reason. I don't know. I think it's just like an itch he has or something. Coming up at number 3, Ramona Park, Broke My Heart. This album's great. It had an insane team. No ID, DJ Dahani, and like 50 other people on the production. Like it's literally the last album Vince Staples times 20. It's so good. This definitely feels more like a Vince Staples type album. Beats, the hooks, the choruses and all the songs with the Free the Homies, Magic, Lemonade. It's just, they're so catchy. They're great work. The whole team, the whole team and Vince Staples did a great job on this album. If you haven't listened to Vince Staples before because you live under a rock, I would definitely check out this album as your first listen because you will not be disappointed. So coming up on number 2, we have the Big Fish Theory. People are going to argue with me that this should be number 1, but I'm going to validate that in a minute. Out of the best 50 albums of 2017, this album placed at number 18 out of 50 from Billboard. I feel like it should have been a little higher, but 18 it is. Vince Staples can literally rap his ass off. This guy has some crafty and witty lyrics all around, and not just in this album, but on all of his other projects. The thing is with this album is it's very all over the place. There's not like really a set theme or mood in this album. It's just like you listen to one song and it's super hype mode and you want to just start dancing, and then there's another song that's like super happy and you feel good, and then there's songs that are just sad, really sad, and then there's songs that put you in a real dark and thinking place, like what the fuck. It's all over the place. Like if Bipolar was an album, this would be the album. And just for an example, if you go on this album and you listen to the song Party People, immediately from the title, you're going to think, oh, wow, Party People must be a hype song, right? And then you get hit with lyrics like this. I'm quoting this from Party People. Awkward silence, my brain screams louder, asking when I'm going to blast myself. Yeah, you're the life of the party, Vince. But it still is a great artistic statement on Vince's behalf. Very, at the time, in the late 2000, well, I want to say the 2010s, in the late 2010s, you know, 2017, no one was expecting an album like this, really. I believe the people that were coming up at this point that were like blowing up were like, what, in 2017? Who the fuck was it? Like Uzi and stuff like that, Playboy Cardi. They were just blowing up, and then Vince was just kind of just tossed under the rug. but he still had little gems that come up here and there. And the Big Fish Theory is it's a great album all around, great listen. But for most viewers out there, if you don't understand what you're gonna go into when you listen to this album, you're just gonna listen to it and be like, what the fuck is this? So coming up at number 1 is his album FM. This album didn't do too well at all. People are saying that it's really average. A lot of critics say that this album's pretty average at most. I've only just seen 7 out of 10, 7.5, 6 out of 10. Like, no one gives this album enough props, but it deserves props because it's just a really creative album with a short runtime, again, of 20 minutes or so. It's just a staple of creativity to have your whole album themed as a radio station in like Long Beach, California in the summer. I really think that's a really cool theme for an album. Production on this album, it was pretty good. It's not the greatest. Kenny Beats did help out a lot with this album, so shout out Kenny Beats. But you know, the production on it, if it weren't for him, I think it would have been a whole different scenario. His hooks and choruses are overlooked in this album a lot, just because he's literally rapping his ass off on every song, just putting his whole heart and soul into it, you know, just going ham on the microphone. It's a really good, you know, when it comes to rapping, Vince Staples just does not fail at all. I love how he puts in interludes of different artists such as Tyga and Earl Sweatshirt in there. Very underrated album, to say the least. Blows Big Fish Theory out of the water just because it has a concrete theme, and he stuck to that theme throughout the whole album. And it's not really like, there's no different kind of mood. The main mood of this album is you listen to this album and you feel happy. Great album though. The vibe, the album cover, rapping, you know, the whole mixing, the theme of the album, the interludes, the skits, like it's really cool. And Big Fish Theory didn't really have that. Big Fish Theory was just a bunch of songs clumped together, different moods, thrown in your face, which is kind of cool and artistic if you think about it. Real good artistic statement. But FM really was just more concrete for me, so that's why FM is higher on this list than Big Fish Theory. So if I had to give Vince Staples a rating, I'm easily giving Vince Staples a 9 out of 10. This guy's lyrics, great. He can rap without a doubt. His flow, insane. This guy's flow literally just sounds like he's parallel parking on the beat. No fucks given. He doesn't ride the beat. He just parallel parks on the track. Production for this artist is probably his soft spot. I kind of feel like he's paying, or at least the team that's backing him is paying for production for most of these albums. And even though like he has production from Kenny Beats and No ID, for some reason everyone underlooks it. I don't understand why. I feel like Vince Staples can make an album and have Kanye produce it, and people still would just be like, "Oh, it's a Vince Staples album," so they're not gonna like look at it as, "Oh, it's so like weird." Like, no, it's a gem, you know. But that's pretty much the only flaw I have with him, is his production. If it weren't for these big teams and it was him on his own, I would like to see that. I would like to see Vince Staples put out something where he produced it all on himself and see if it sounded any different from any of the albums and projects he has out now. That would be interesting. If he does and I'm just stupid, just drop it in the comments or something. I'll check it out. But yeah, 9 out of 10. Production is pretty weak on most of his albums, but rapping, flow, the creativity factor. So this has nothing to do with the rating, but at the Call Me If You Get Lost tour, I saw a whole bunch of artists perform, and when Vince Staples performed, dude, I was pretty disappointed. I was like, because everyone else had these cool sets. Like Kali Uchis had a real like mystique kind of set, and then Tyler the Creator had the whole Call Me If You Get Lost tour theme going on with like Switzerland and stuff like that in Geneva. And then Tizo Touchdown had the theme of, you know, him being like some punk rock star and like a back garage and something like that. Like, it was really cool to see all that like creativity in that. And then Vince Staples just comes up and just gets on a stage and there's lights, just him performing. I was kind of disappointed at that, bro. I was expecting something cool. I was expecting you to come out in like a big fish bowl or something like that, you know, blow my fucking head away. But no, I still love you though, bro. Still love you. If you're watching this, Vince Staples, please DM me. So this has been Are They Mid with Vince Staples. Make sure you check out my other Are They Mids. Make sure you check out my other videos on my channel. Make sure you check out my Twitch. Like I said earlier in the video, Hurricane Ian really did a number on Florida and Fort Myers Beach. A lot of people still don't have power, so donate. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.